economics, history, family, social issues, education, religion, government, or national security. Brannon brings the issues of the day into clear focus through the lens of a Judeo-Christian worldview. And now, here is your host, Brannon Howse.
And welcome to the broadcast. On this Wednesday night, July 15th, 2026, Mike Lindell, he got two big endorsements today from President Trump. Two different Truth Social posts. We'll read them tonight, and we will talk to Mike Lindell himself about the polls. How is he doing as he runs in the primary on the Republican Party side for the governor of Minnesota? And one of the leaders there, and the man who's in charge of the GOP, the Minnesota GOP, he put out a statement today I don't think was very nice. I want to read it and have Mike Lindell respond to what this GOP dude in Minnesota is saying. How is MyPillow doing? Are they surviving? Are they making it? Where is he at with the various machine company lawsuits? And what about the big speech tomorrow night? President Donald Trump speaking from the White House. I assume he's going to be at the White House tomorrow night. I don't know if it's going to be the Oval Office, the East Wing. I have no idea. But Donald Trump speaking tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern Standard. And we're told he's going to be talking an awful lot about election security and a lot of things we were talking about here when we started working with Mike Lindell in, February of 2021. So we'll get into a lot of that with Mike Lindell tonight. And by the way, we'll carry that tomorrow night. And then Mike, I think, will join us. And Garland Favorito has already guaranteed he'll be with us after the president speaks to respond to what the president says. They're saying it's going to be a big deal, that he's going to reveal quite a bit. Maybe kind of a Mike Lindell and some of us being vindicated that talked about these things for so long. Should be interesting. Let's get into some of that tonight with Mike Lindell. But before we do, I'm going to talk to Anni Cyrus and to Patrick Wood. I had Patrick Wood on today at 1 o'clock, and I found a bunch of articles today. Look at this, July 7th, 2026. Iraq prepares to construct additional piers at Al-Fal Port. Let me tell you something. When they're done doing this, they're building more berths. When they're doing this, they're going to be holding more capability than that of Dubai. It is going to make this bigger than Dubai's, which right now is the Middle East's biggest container port. What's going on in Iraq? It's going to surpass it. In my commentary in the Worldview Report tonight, I explained this fits right in with Revelation 18. And I want to talk to Anni about that and Patrick. Let's also talk about this. There was an unidentified drone crashes at Iraq's Al-Fal Port. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But here's another headline. Look at this. U.S.-Iraq finalized major energy deal. All right, now there's the leader of Iraq, 41-year-old banker, businessman, kind of a mini Donald Trump, if you will, of the Middle East of Iraq. And look, their deal is going to involve oil fields. Iran energy deal to link Basra oil fields with Turkey and Syria. Now we understand why the administration is being so friendly with the leader of Syria and the leader of Turkey, Erdogan. And now Iraq. This is all about trade, energy, oil, and so much more. And, of course, whatever plans they have for Gaza. Don't forget about Gaza and the Board of Peace. And this guy is being described also as a technocratic 41-year-old banker. Let's talk about what relationship he has to Iran. So we'll get Anni on to talk about the Middle East, Iranian-Iraq side. And Patrick and I will deal with the Bible prophecy side and then the technocracy side, right? Should be a very interesting broadcast, no doubt about it. Tweet, text, email, Facebook, Getter, Truth Social. Let your family and friends know we're here and what we're talking about. And then, of course, if you appreciate what we're doing, we need your support. WorldviewHealthcare.com. Order up your medical kits, your antibiotics, your EpiPens, your ivermectin, WorldviewHealthcare.com. We keep some of these, the blue one for sure. We have several of these blue ones on hand at all times, folks, because it has some of the antibiotics, 2 different types of antibiotics, and we've had to dip into them. Me for pneumonia, Melissa with sinus infections. We've had to use these, and we travel with them as well because we don't want to go to urgent care. We want to be our own urgent care. Don't forget, they also have essential wellness plans, $9.99 a month, $49.99 per month. $99 per month as well. Check it all out. But for sure, you want to get your wellness kit and have it on hand. Don't forget about the foundation. We need your support, worldviewfoundation.com. You also find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. Gatatana, I drink it every night in my water for my meal. Phytoplankton. I hear more and more reports about how tough it is for cancer to live if you're drinking some kind of green phytoplankton plant. I'm not making a claim. I'm just telling you the research and the work I'm reading. Not to mention the fact this whole company came from a guy who was diagnosed terminally, started drinking the phytoplankton, came back test benign, lived another 10 years. So check it out, worldviewtube.com/sponsors. We sell a lot of these because why would you want to drink water that has toxins in it? Do you really trust your governments, folks, local and state? Well, I don't think you should. People say, oh, I trust my government. Really? You trust your local government? A lot of people think that. Well, my local government's wonderful. It's just the other local governments. No, sorry. Politicians and bureaucrats are politicians and bureaucrats, in my opinion. I wouldn't trust any of them. Unless you trust but verify. Maybe you should take a test of your water and see what comes back. But you should probably also get yourself a water filter under your sink and in your shower, like I have, to take out all of these chemicals, worldviewwater.net. Our leadership program, it is off and running. You can train. It's a 2-year program. And at the end, you will be receiving a beautiful frameable diploma certified as having completed this 2-year Worldview Bible training program. Folks, you know what this will do for you? Not only will it bless other people, but you know what it'll do for you? I believe going through this 2-year training program will transform your life. Who doesn't want their life transformed? And you know, the Bible tells us when we fill ourselves with the Word of God, the teaching of the Bible, it has a marvelous, powerful, transformative impact on us. I'm telling you, you study the Bible intently for 2 years through this program, you are going to receive so many blessings. You're going to be encouraged, equipped, edified. In fact, there's a special blessing in the Bible for those who study the book of Revelation, and you're going to be doing that in this course. So not only will you be a blessing to others, I believe you will receive a blessing. I'll tell you something, folks, being forced to be accountable because I sit and study every week to teach Sunday night, doing that, folks, has made me have to study. I can't say, oh, I don't want to do it this week. No, people are counting on you. And this is what this does. It forces you into a program where you are required, because you've paid, you're taking the course, to stay on schedule and get this thing done. You need that accountability. I have it when I have to teach every Sunday night. But you know what's happened to me over the last several years, folks? And now that I understand the Bible more, I have more peace. I have more understanding. I have more wisdom. I have more knowledge. I have more application. Folks, nothing negative comes from studying the Bible, only positive. The Bible is powerful and living and like an active sword, dividing truth and error. And it brings us understanding. It brings us wisdom. It brings us hope. So if you want to think about taking the course to be a blessing to others and teach, yes. But think about what it's going to do in your own life as it's done in mine. So I hope you'll join our course because we want to train you, equip you to be a Bible teacher, to lead a Bible study, to start a home church. Now you say, I don't want to start a home church. Well, that's fine. Then start a Bible study. Lead the Bible study at your church. Lead a Bible study. Teach at a Sunday school class at your church. And if they won't let you do that, start your own in your home. You don't need to ask, Mother, may I? Start your own Bible study. And not only will you at the end of this 2 years have the training and confidence, but we're going to resource you with PowerPoint and leader's notes and student worksheets. You can download beautiful professional PowerPoints. So please check it all out. worldviewtube.com/leadership, worldviewtube.com/leadership. Back to worldviewtube.com/sponsors. You know, Numi, we do that every day. Swish for about 3 minutes, swallow it, load it with glutathione to detox your cells. Some studies show it may remove mercury from your brain, helping prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, or Parkinson's. Bella Grace, do that each and every day, have for the longest time. Look at the hair growth. No hands cracking and bleeding. No leaky gut. No eczema because I got the leaky gut under control. So there you go. Look at that. Clean. So there you go. I do have a callus, but I don't have any hands breaking apart. And the only thing I did was take the Bella Grace. It's got the collagen. It's got the cat's claw with it, which is anti-inflammatory. And it's got the astaxanthin, which takes on the free radicals. Worldviewtalk.com. Get your bulletproof backpacks for the high school, college kids, young kids. They have a smaller size for elementary kids. The bigger size, get a backpack that's bulletproof for yourself. We live in a dangerous world. Send the young people back to school with bulletproof backpacks. Get your Worldview Gold Pack. Put gold into your IRA. Take physical custody. The dollar today has about the purchasing power of 3 cents, as it did in 1913. It's being debased and destroyed, but yet gold has kept its purchasing power. It's not the dollar or gold going up. It's the dollar going down, okay? So get your free pack, no obligation, risk-free. Do your homework about taking possession of gold, getting out of the government system, the globalist system, where they have you under their thumb. Do you want freedom? Do you want liberty? Or do you want to be controlled, debanked, deplatformed, shut down, whatever? Monitored, tracked? Or do you want to have some of your assets off the bullseye, private, secure, and under 100% of your control? You can find out how to do that. Worldviewgold.com. Worldviewgold.com. Let's get going. Join me now is Anni Cyrus and Patrick Wood. Folks, ask yourself, why is the leader of the free world, President Donald J. Trump, suddenly becoming very friendly with the leaders of Iraq and of Turkey and of Syria? And, we've been asking ourselves that. We're like, why is he praising this leader of Syria and Erdogan? What's going on here? Well, guess what? We're now watching a corridor being assembled. We're talking about oil from Babylon moving across Syria to the Mediterranean onto Europe. Now, I believe, again, as I dealt with today at 1 o'clock Central with Patrick Wood, this all has great biblical implications. I'll say it again. I wrote a book in 2016 called The Coming Religious Reich. 500 pages, talking about global governance and the going toward a one world government, a one world religious system, one world economic system. And I said, look, here's why I believe it'll be a commercial site of Babylon being built, rebuilt, and the center of global commerce and great wealth, because the Bible says so. Revelation 17 is describing the spiritual side. Revelation 18 describes the commercial side. And that was 10 years ago. And here we are. Look at where we're at with All Fall Port. All Fall Port that we've been talking about for several years now. I don't know, 3 or 4 years. Well, it just came out that they're building even more berths to hold more ships and will surpass the ability of one of the biggest ports there in Dubai as far as how many millions of cargo containers they can hold. They've already built an underwater tunnel and railroad, highway. What we're watching is really a map being redrawn to run trade and treasure straight through the land of Babylon. Remember Babylon, about 58 miles south of Baghdad. Very interesting to watch what's taking place, particularly, as we said today at 1 o'clock Central with Patrick Wood, the Prime Minister of Iraq coming into the Oval Office, his first visit to D.C. He's 41 years old. He doesn't have a military background like the leader of Syria. This guy, this Ali, 41, he is a banker. He has his degree in banking, a master's in finance. He has been involved with hospitals, food, livestock. I mean, he's very diverse when you read his bio. He's basically, I think, like Patrick said. Patrick today at 1 o'clock said he's kind of a mini-me Donald Trump, but of Iraq. But think about it. Not too many years ago, we were bombing the living daylights out of Iraq. Remember that with George H. Bush? And then his son did it, George W. I played today the clip from the Oval Office of George H. Bush talking that night from the Oval Office about how he was for a new world order, where there would be the rule of law and not the rule of the jungle. That's what he said. And I remember us talking about why did they have to get rid of Saddam Hussein out of Iraq? Because he wasn't playing ball with them. In fact, apparently he wanted to go over to gold and dump the dollar. But they needed someone they could work with. They needed to remove him. And I remember saying for years, and I'm not the only one, they needed to get rid of Saddam Hussein in order to build the new world order, to redo the Middle East. And it's being redone, all right, between IMEC, India, Middle East, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC. China Belt and Road Initiative that can be hooked to that. The Al-Far port of Iraq, that can be hooked to that. Patrick provided us with a map earlier today. I'll bring that up, show you that map, have him talk about that, because again, it's showing us how all of these different sites are all now being built. Here's one right here, INSTC. We talked about that for the first time about 2 weeks ago. India, Iran, and Russia. Folks, we've been saying for some time that the attention of the world will move to the Middle East. The wealth of the world will move to the Middle East. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. Let's play some clips and get into it. Patrick joins us again to talk about the technocratic, globalist side, the trade side. Annie to talk about the Middle East regional side. Experts, both in their fields. By the way, 2 of our keynote speakers at our national conference coming up Friday night, October 23rd, Saturday, October 24th at the Waukesha Expo Center. It's free for the first time in 22 years, our national conference, but you must have a ticket, and you can secure your seat at worldviewtube.com/events. Look at all that's going on in the world. Don't you think Annie's going to have plenty to talk about? Patrick's going to have plenty to talk about. All the Sharam, Alex Newman, Erwin Lutzer, myself, Andy Woods, we're all going to have plenty to talk about, and we're going to do that in person and then visit with you guys. It's going to be a great weekend. I hope you can be a part of it. We're filming it live, but you will only be able to watch it if you're a Vault member. Now, you can attend it, but you can only stream it live and watch it live if you're a Vault member. And you can get your membership at worldviewtube.com/vault for that, worldviewtube.com/vault. Annie and Patrick join me now. Guys, welcome back to the broadcast. Thank you for being with us.
You bet. Good to be here.
Thank you, Rana.
All right, Patrick, let's talk about, before we get to Annie, let's talk about what we have learned since you and I went off the air. What new information have you learned? That was a pretty fascinating show we did today, wasn't it?
It really was. I ran across an Atlantic Council statement. That's the elite Atlantic Council, packed with members of the Trilateral Commission, by the way. Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, their Iraq director said, or likened this new guy to be, quote, the Trump of the Middle East.
Really? Who said that?
This was the Atlantic Council.
Because that's funny, because you were saying that today without knowing that.
I know exactly. So somebody else beat me to the punch. That's all I'm saying.
Have you sent me these articles, by the way?
Well, sure. Well, yeah, I can get it.
Send them over and I'll show them on the screen real quick.
I can't do it that quick.
Okay. I thought you had sent me. I thought when you got off the air today, you were texting me stuff. Were you not?
I did give you some snippets.
Did you send it to me directly or to me and Logan? Because I'm not finding it in our thread with each other now.
It was in your messages, SMS messages. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I don't know why. Because I saw them and now they're gone. So that's really weird. Because I told Logan, he's been researching on this all day. He sent me some articles since we got off the air. And all of a sudden they're gone. That's the weirdest thing in the world. Well, wow. So you use the term, he's kind of a Trump mini-me of Iraq. And you get off the air, you keep researching it, and now you find a group that's calling him the Donald Trump of the Middle East.
I know, exactly. So this guy is at the top of the pack in Iraq. He's I ask my AI program, is he is he a billionaire, or is he like in the top 1% of the whole country? And it came back, so that's not the question to ask. He's like at the very tippy top of wealthy people in Iraq. So he's like Trump, maybe richer than Trump, relatively speaking.
Richer than Trump, relatively speaking, to Iraq.
To Iraq, that's right.
Very fascinating. He holds a bachelor's degree in law and finance, as well as a master's degree in finance and banking. Doesn't look like he's had any connection to the military. He has been involved with 15 companies a conglomerate, all woes group, a conglomerate that includes 15 companies operating in different industries such as food trade, agriculture, and livestock production, contracting, printing, security services, electronics, and oil. At one time, he was on the board. He was chairman of the board of directors of Al Janub Islamic Bank, gaining experience in banking, management, and financial governance. According to the New York Times, the bank was sanctioned by the United States in 2024 over alleged money laundering on behalf of Iran and Iranian-backed Iraqi Shia militias, fraud and illicit use of U.S. currency. The bank was also banned by Central Bank of Iraq. According to an investigation conducted by the American financial crime assessment company K2 Integrity, no credible evidence was found linking al-Zalati, that's him, to Iran-linked financial activities. A source from the company speaking on condition of anonymity emphasized that the previous restrictions imposed on al-Zayah's bank were for reasons of reputational risk rather than proven involvement in money laundering, end quote. So there you go. I wonder if there are some people that didn't want him rising. Patrick?
You mean al-Zaidi?
Yeah, they were trying to keep, they're trying to maybe smear him and keep him from rising.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Because he ended up getting elected kind of as the what is it, the middle of the road guy, the compromise guy?
He wasn't elected by anybody. He was appointed.
Appointed, okay.
Like a technocrat.
Wow. So but he was picked because he was kind of a middle of the road guy, is that right?
Well, the last guy that was friendly with Iran, I can't remember his name offhand, but the guy that was going to be the head of the premier of Iraq, Trump put his foot down on that, said, no, you're not going to do that. Get rid of that guy, find somebody else. Now, Trump didn't pick specifically this guy, but he was a product of the veto power he had to get rid of the last guy. So this guy rose unanimously in the selection meeting that was convened to pick a new prime minister. So this guy has no elected position at all. But nevertheless, he's the premier right now. This is a hallmark of a technocrat, not elected, not really accountable to anybody at this point. But Trump loves him, and he apparently they're building a bond here. And it's interesting to know that this guy is deeply religious. I found that out. He's a Shia Muslim. That puts him in the same camp as Iran, but he's not calling for the murder of all Americans or anybody else at this point. He's a business guy, right? He's on the other side. I wonder, just incidentally, if he could be the bridge to bring Iran into reintegrate Iran economically to the rest of the world. He could be that guy.
Let's see what Annie thinks. Annie, what do you think about what you've been hearing?
Yes, the information is very accurate. And we did force the president of Iraq to appoint al-Zaidi, though it goes against our constitution, but we had enough power to do it. And he is actually... So, Patrick, he doesn't scream death to America. However, you should see some of the videos or transcript of his conversations with Iranian leaders where he's over there.
Really?
He is all about Quds and wipe Israel off the map, and Jewish people should be sent back to concentration camp. Yep, he follows all of that conversation when he's in Tehran, talking to his bosses, because if we take off all the extras, basically bottom line is he takes orders not from Iraq president, but he takes orders from Iran's IRGC. That's how he's holding on to his position. Now, how did we cross our wires of someone who's favored by IRGC is also favored by Trump administration? That is a very different question. I don't have an answer for it, by the way.
Wow. Look at this from the cradle. U.S. Iraq finalized major energy deal during Zahadi's first Washington visit. How do we say his name, Annie?
Al-Zaidi.
Al-Zaidi.
Zaidi.
Al-Zaidi.
There you go. That's his last name. Al-Zaidi. Yes.
All right. So Al-Zaidi comes to Washington. We saw it yesterday. The Cradle reports Iraq energy deal to link Basra oil fields with Turkey, Syria ports. And there you go. Two Iraq officials said a deal is scheduled to be signed on Friday involving Iraq, U.S. firms Chevron and TI Capital, as well as Qatar's UCC. This is a big deal. I mean,
that's our attempt, though. That's our bait. Because right now, everything aside, one of the biggest reasons that not just Al-Zaidi, but the entire Iraqi government is under the thumb of IRGC is because Iraq heavily relies on Iran's energy, specifically gas. So one of the ways we, as always, are trying to get them to abandon Iranian government and become our ally is this very energy deal we're talking about. That's the first step of the bait. Of the bait, not the debate. So that's where the conflict is starting. Now, mind you, he has also agreed, I'm sure you can pull this up too, he has also agreed to a strict September 30th, 2026 deadline to disarm every single non-state militia groups in Iraq.
And by September 2026, we're going to have the U.S. military out of Iraq by by September 2026. That, of course, doesn't include the humongous U.S. embassy in Baghdad in the green zone that has shopping mall, fire station, movie theater. In fact, as I said today on radio, we'll probably be piling more American diplomats into that center than less. But we'll be pulling all the military out by September 2026.
Yes, which is, again, one of those times of I just scratch my head. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, so we're going to pull our military and then just rely on Iraqi government to disarm. Like, I will say this with a straight face, though you can't see my straight face right now. We have better chance of disarming Hamas than the Shia militia in Iraq. Shia militia so they're going to disarm the very group that went from Iraq to Tehran between January 8th and 9th of this year, killing Iranians. That's the type of militia and the numbers we're talking about. Brandon, if you remember, we played their video with their leader walking in Tehran. If you remember, when they made it to Tehran, the video came out. It went viral that Iraqi militia has made it to Tehran. They were the one who did the crackdown. So, yeah, I'm sure Iraqi government's going to disarm them by September. Sure.
So I remember that guy, Logan. Let's see if we can find that again. Iraq militia went to Tehran. I remember us talking about that guy.
Yeah, the guys with the long, kind of like salt and pepper beard.
Yep.
Kind of built with his entire, not entire, but with his, generals, quote unquote. Yes, that is the militia group that is going to disarm by September for us.
You're not buying it.
Oh, no, I checked the receipt. I'm sorry. There's nothing to buy there. Nothing. They will get our deal. They will take advantage of the deal we're giving them, but they are not. They know the risk. They know the risk of even trying to go up against IRGC's militia in Iraq. They didn't show up yesterday. Since the fall of Saddam Hussein, IRGC started running routes in Iraq. Again, even the appointed members of parliament, which are up in the air, by the way, this wasn't the only action. The entire parliament in Iraq is temporarily at the moment because they can't even conclude on their election. Funny enough, every time you watch the video, President Trump is constantly congratulating them for winning such an extraordinary election. I'm like, what election? There was no election. As Patrick said, it was appointment. Anyways, half of their parliament members have direct ties to IRGC.
Are you looking at what we're looking at right now?
Yes, I am looking at what you're looking at. That is not the group, no.
No, but that's him.
You mean the prime minister?
Yeah, that's the prime minister in Iran.
Yes. Yes, that's
Khomeini's
what I'm
son.
saying. You should
With
get the
who?
transcript. His
Says it's
son.
Khomeini's son.
That's Khomeini's son he's kissing?
That is not Khomeini. No, that's not. Look, you're rubbing off on me. That is not Khomeini's son. No,
Khomeini,
that is
sorry.
one of the primary Tehran Friday prayer muftis, for lack of a better term in English.
Okay.
No, that's not.
Was this
Khomeini's
during
son.
the funeral?
I think he did not go. I think they sent a different delegation. I need to check. I don't think he did go for the funeral, but I'll check.
But
I saw he went to a funeral, not the big deal, but there was something that they held in Iraq for him, and he was there at that.
in Iran. Did they
Yeah,
hold it
but
in
he
Iraq
didn't
or
go-
Iran?
No, they did one in Iraq because he's buried in, well, they decided they're going to bury him in Iraq. So they also did a ceremony in Iraq after his main funeral in Tehran.
Huh.
Yes,
That's what, like, so just a few dots we throw around in first 10 minutes. Who's going to buy this?
Right. I mean, that's just, I mean, make sure our audience kind of has that fleshed out for them. The supreme leader dies. They hold the funeral in Iran, but they bury him in Iraq.
Yes.
Why?
In
Why?
the holy city.
Why?
Yeah.
He went home.
That,
He
because
went home.
that's where he's from.
That is where he's from. Yes. Khomeini, the first supreme leader, was from India. Khamenei, the second supreme leader, was from Iraq.
And
Yes.
now we're to believe that this guy in the Oval Office is cutting these deals with Trump is going to help us. Let's look at what was said. Here we go.
Just want to say it's a great honor to have the Prime Minister of Iraq with us. He's been a great fighter and he's been a great fan of America. We'll be discussing that a little bit with you, but they have tremendous oil reserves. They have tremendous potential wealth, and they have tremendous wealth, not only potential. But he's done in a short period of time, he's changed that country so much, especially toward their thinking about the United States. And we have partnerships. Chris was just saying we have tremendous oil partnerships all of a sudden being formed over the last short period of time. And I guess you're going to be announcing them this week or next week, but massive, among the largest. So they have done a fantastic job over the last very short period of time. But they have a great leader, the new prime minister. He's a great leader. I think he's going to be there for a long period of time. And it's great to have you at the White House. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And he's a young man. He's young and he's handsome, which I don't like. I'm not happy about it.
Wow. All right, Logan, what did you find out during that clip about who he was kissing in that procession? Who was that?
From what I could tell is Mustafa Khomeini. He's an Iranian Shia cleric and a member of the Khomeini family and the eldest son of the second Iranian Supreme Leader, Ali Khomeini.
There you go. Wow. Yeah, there he is. There he is.
So how is this all going to work? Oh, there he is. Look at him. How is this all going to work, Patrick?
Well, look, this guy's a businessman. He's coming in, riding on a businessman's horse, if you will. He speaks a language that Trump understands, for one thing. And I have no indication that that Jared Kushner or Steve Witkoff are party to this whole thing that just happened in Washington. They're absent from the record. I'm sure that they got to be somewhere in the mix, but they're not in the front of it. But the whole business of the Abraham Accords in the first place was to integrate the region based on economic policies, not political policies. The politics have been suppressed. Of course, they're still seeping out in some live conflicts like Iran right now in the Strait. But nevertheless, the idea is to involve all these companies economically, make them put down their arms for the sake of cooperation and making money. And so far, it's been successful. Now, could they stub their toe? Absolutely. But so far, you can see the strategy is playing out. Trump has all of a sudden involved Turkey in a big way with the sale of our latest jet fighter airplanes. They don't have them yet, but they will. And all of a sudden, Erdogan says, "Well, I'm going to get rid of all of the other Russian jets we have, and sell up to the rest of the Gulf countries, but we're going to have all the latest stuff from the United States." How do you square this with anything rational other than Trump is trying to build a consortium or a cartel in the Middle East?
Well,
it excludes some countries and involves others, but you can see one by one he's picking them off. The UAE, Qatar, India, now Iraq.
what is this doing to China?
China's odd man out at this point.
And that's what you and I said when we came on the air, that they were going over there to tell Xi, get on board. This is where we're going. Do you want to be a part of it or not?
I've maintained for a long time that China's a technocracy, and that's defensible in my opinion. But Trump didn't go there to get a tongue lashing from Xi, but rather he went there to invite him into the New World Order, my opinion.
Did Xi Jinping join or not?
Well, he's already joined in that sense. Absolutely. They're, as a technocratic state, they're all on board with the technocratic state.
But did he agree to work with Trump and Trump's plan and the Board of Peace and all that?
So well, they're not members, but nevertheless, where are they absent from the discussion? Yeah, they're nowhere to be seen. They're not asserting themselves militarily anywhere, or just by ambassadorship and stuff like that. They're nowhere to be found.
Do you think we have to worry about China and Taiwan?
I wouldn't worry about them at this point. I think it's just a distraction.
So you would think at this point, this is all a worked out business deal globally?
I think you're right, and I'll make another observation. When China said, and Trump announced this verbally, that China would be ordering and shipping oil from Louisiana and Texas in their ships, that told me something big. China buying oil from the United States, really? But this is. Something shifted here, big time.
And now, of course, are we going to take IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe, Economic Corridor, take the Al-Fa port, add it to the Belt and Road Initiative, and bring all these pieces together for the biggest commercial enterprise in the history of the world, which, again, is what Revelation 18 says. They're trading gold and horses and fine wood and silk and linen and flour. And I mean, it goes into all the riches they're traveling back and forth with.
Exactly. And you mentioned earlier that the Al-Fa port is adding capacity.
Yep. They're going to be bigger than Dubai.
Well, that's not the whole story. It's going to be the biggest port in the Middle East, period.
Yep. Dubai is the biggest capacity right now, but Al-Fa port, once those berths are done, will surpass Dubai.
That's right. So what's do you think they have an idea that the strait is going to be worked out in their favor at some point? I think so. Who would put that money into a port that's basically landlocked because of the strait?
So, Andy, how are they going to get this Strait of Hormuz deal worked out? How is this guy? Is he being used in some way? Is he going to Iran and trying to convince them to come to the table and be part of the party? Or what do you think is going on here?
Well, as far as the Strait of Hormuz, I said it earlier today to a friend of mine, that conflict, there's only two possible ways to that conflict. You either finish the regime or you come back home. That's just the only ways out of the situation in the Strait of Hormuz. They're not going to come to negotiation table. Well, they will, but they're not going to sign any deal with us. That I think has been proven so far. As far as their buddy Ali, I actually think it's reverse. I think he is working for Iran, trying to convince us to do things for Iran. Again, President Trump might say he's going to be there for a long, long time. But if he doesn't do what Iran wants him to do, or if he doesn't achieve the objectives for Iran, trust me, he's not going to be there for long. And I get it. I get that we are the superpower and we have all the control over Iraq. But I'm sorry, but that's a myth. Again, for centuries, Iraq had a Sunni government. But we topple Saddam and we decide to get a Shia government in there. And for the last 21 years, that Shia government has been trained and controlled by the Islamic Republic of Iran's regime. You can't overwrite 21 years with one energy deal. Sorry, that's just not going to happen. Again, because we're dealing with Islamic Republic of Iran's regime. If this was Al-Jolani, it was different, but it's not. It's IRGC. So I don't really see this going in our benefit in any shape or form, just like the same thing with Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Turkey, and we can phrase it and wrap it in a millions of jobs are coming to America post. But the reality is this one player can't, it's not that he's loyal to IRGC. No, his whole livelihood depends on following their orders and delivering for them.
So how do you see this playing out, Annie? And what do you see, if you had to guess, what's the scenario going to be?
This very, like the Iraq involvement, like us and Iraq?
Or no, Iran. Or is it going to be that, is he going to go in there and take over? There's talk about putting troops on the ground. There was more talk last night that Trump might put troops on the ground, might go there to Karg Island, other places, put troops on the ground. Is he just going to go in there and take over or what?
Well, the thing is, we heard those very exact sentences 2 months ago, 4 months ago, early March. So if I follow the pattern of he talks a lot of talk, doesn't take actions on him, I would say no. Again, he's just talking, hoping one of these bluff is going to be bought by the regime.
So if he's now saying, look, in the next day or so, we could go after your power plants and your bridges. That's his next threat, infrastructure.
Yeah, but he's made those threats before.
So let's say he follows through on it. I guess what I'm trying to say is that does he finally reach a point where the regime does fall?
Will Trump reach the point? I don't know. Can he afford to reach that point, knowing what's going to happen inside America, all the way from their proxies and the sleeper cells to our economy and midterm up in the air? Honestly, that is a question with Trump.
At this point, does he care about that? Does he care about that at this point? Or does he care about his legacy and what he's building in the Middle East?
Yeah, but that's what I was finishing my sentence with. When it comes to Trump, nobody knows. I don't think he even knows. He goes to bed with one plan, wakes up with a different one.
What
and
about
then by brunch, we change the plan?
What about Ahmadinejad? He's supposedly been working with Mossad.
I don't think I'm buying that yet. I don't have enough evidence to buy that for a second. I don't.
Okay.
I've been asked, but there is not even a drop of evidence to show that. If there's a big if that is true, I don't know how he's exactly helping, because he's been out of that government for a long time. He's been pretty much the black sheep who was, blacklisted by the government.
But if the regime fell, I guess they were counting on putting him in.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what's being reported.
Well, is that America's idea?
It was sound like it was Israel's.
That's why I'm like, I'm not buying that.
Because you and I thought Israel was going with the crown prince, right?
Exactly. Even with America, if you remember, I said their hidden gem is Mousavi, not Ahmadinejad. Because here's the thing, both Israel and U.S., regardless of how much they pretend like they don't know, that's U.S. government, that is. One thing they know for sure is Iranians are not Afghans or Iraqis. You don't get to shove a government on them. They have proven to come on the streets and die, which now Trump is getting closer to the real number based on his statement, 52,000, based on record, 84,000 of them died in a matter of 30 days. So with that, they can't just put out, they know Ahmadinejad would last 5 seconds before Iranian people kill him themselves. Again, that's why I'm not buying this story unless I see proof, legit proof. But no, I don't believe
Okay,
for a
so
second.
we've only got two choices. The regime survives, and they have to try to do whatever they're doing over there, minus the Strait of Hormuz, or the regime gets taken down, and that problem there is fixed. But either way, this is going forward. One way or the other, this is going forward, Patrick. Right?
It is. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. And who knows how it's going to settle out, but Trump has been very consistent. And I think, some people say, well, maybe he's just erratic. He's been very consistent to push the trade deals in the Middle East, wherever he's gone. Even the Board of Peace, the old business with Gaza, and he's talking trade, and he's involved all these other Islamic leaders on his team, even financially on his team. So, he's in that way, he's been consistent. Who knows how he's going to settle out with this new guy in Iraq. But, I think he has a strategy. I don't like it. But on the other hand, from a prophetical point of view, I like it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? Because it tells us that we're almost done down here. Listen to this. Tim Burchett, he's the congressman from the eastern part of the state of Tennessee here. I guess he was in some meetings with the prime minister of Iraq. Listen to what he had to say today, please.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett. Hey, brother. Leaving meeting with the prime minister of Afghanistan.
No, Afghanistan. All right. I thought it was Iraq. He meant to say Iraq? Oh, he misspoke. Okay.
This happens so many of these times. The leadership and whoever else has prepared questions, and then this guy just runs out the clock. Weren't any real questions allowed. I wasn't very impressed. I'm not sure what's going on while we're playing ball with these people all the time, both parties. Anyway, we'll see. They need to be supporting us in Iran. And I see a lot of talk and a lot of platitudes, but not many results. I just left the meeting, and I'm pretty disgusted, actually, that we allow this kind of stuff to go on, where we let them come in and both parties do it. And I get it. You got a top man in their country, and all the security and everything. Everybody gets kind of overwhelmed, but this is America, and we are Americans, and we need to act like it. It's the greatest superpower on the face of the earth. Hey, brother. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. I don't expect much, though. Thank you.
All right. So he said Afghanistan, but his own post says, just to make sure everybody knows we're right, his own post said, I wasted my time listening to Iraq's prime minister. So anyway, he said Afghanistan, but he meant Iraq. So he wasn't impressed, but this isn't about anything but money. I mean, this is about money, right, Annie?
Absolutely. Well, for Trump, it's about, as you said, legacy and control, and he wants the crown. He wants to run the world. For U.S. policy, it's always the same thing. Damage control. For Turkey is power. For Iraq is money. So yeah, you need to look at each player from a different point of view. And that's what makes it scary. Because they all have their own agenda involved.
Wow. And even Joe Wilson, look what Joe Wilson responding to Tim Burchett's video said. Tim, that's why I refuse to attend. Listening to the Iranian-run Iraqi government is a waste of time. Talk is cheap. With billions in taxpayer dollars given to Iraq over the last few years, we expect real action in countering Iranian missiles. Unfortunately, the opposite is the case. Free Iraq from Iran.
Free Iran from Iraq. Free Iraq from Iran, right?
That's what he said. Free Iraq from Iran.
Exactly.
Did I say it the other way around?
No. You said right.
Okay. That's Joe Wilson. Isn't he the one that spoke up during Trump's State of the Union and said liar? Yeah. That's that Joe Wilson. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that nobody would have thought when we were bombing Iraq during the Bush years, Bush 1 and Bush 2, that we'd have the prime minister of Iraq showing up at the Oval Office, cutting massive deals with America. And I mean, this is and then building this massive port that's going to surpass all the other ports, it looks like, in the Middle East. I mean, we've come a long way, baby, haven't we, Patrick?
Yep, I guess so. We have to ask a question. I won't answer it. I don't think I can exactly, but Trump has a divided allegiance as the hands down leader, the king, if you will, of Gaza at this point because of the Board of Peace. He's operating on his own initiative in the Middle East as a private citizen. And then he comes back as the leader of the United States. There's a conflict of interest here that Trump might be using the resources of the United States in a bad way to, bolster his interest, his own personal interest in the Middle East. I don't know how would we prove that? I'm not sure, but I sense there's something going on behind the curtain here, because any money that they'll get, that would be taxpayer money at this point. I presume. I don't know where else they get it, but basically it'd be the people of the United States. That's not his money to make a bargaining chip for his own portfolio in the Middle East. This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm suggesting.
Well, whatever he accomplishes or whatever he's doing, to me, he sure seems to be setting the stage for Bible prophecy to be fulfilled.
Yes.
And we have seen things happen since his second term, and a speed and a level for Bible prophecy watchers that we have not seen in a long time.
We've never had one single person able to go to the Middle East with such like a wrecking ball almost. We've never seen this. People from the United States always approach the Middle East with a committee, with some type of a study group or whatever. All the presidents went with their entourage, and Trump has single-handedly now busted up all these relationships. And he hasn't done that as the president of the United States. He's done it as a private citizen, I think. Honestly, just look what happened with Gaza, and look what happened with the Board of Peace, chairman of life.
And Annie, he hasn't even been president 2 years yet. He's only 18 months in or so.
Exactly. He has plenty of time. But again, I would like to bring everybody's attention back to the midterm. I understand everything in the Middle East is very important right now, but nothing is more important than how hard we're about to get hit during this midterm when the red-green axis is going to take power in America.
Tell me that. Stop right there. At the state level, local level, members of the House, break down the card. Who's running and where?
All of the above. I'm keeping my eyes on one of the last primaries in Georgia with 7 Muslims running. Out of 7, 2 are running for federal, 3 are running for state, and 2 are running for local. And then there's something I've been almost, not figuratively, literally screaming about is, are you telling me a full Republican government? That's correct, right? Our government is all majority Republicans.
Yeah, House, Senate, and White House.
White House, exactly. Are you telling me not a single person? President Trump is too busy with Middle East. He's the president of Middle East. Let's be clear there. Forget about that. But no one else within this whole government could find one single possible law inside our country to remove a man who's not just openly pro-Palestine and anti-Israel, but also in court records shows that he defended the blind sheikh. After being his translator, he defended the man at a federal court in the United States of America, and his name is on the ballot. He just won the primary in New Jersey. Are you telling me not a single Republican could find a legal way to remove his name and himself from the race? What good does it do to have all Republican government when they won't even lift a finger to stop? I repeat, this man took a stand for the sheikh, blind sheikh, and defended him. I have read the documents of that court word by word. It got to a point where the judge himself openly said, I am not buying your lies. You are not just some random driver. This man is about to become a congressman in America. So that's where we should be paying attention, where Republicans are sitting back and allowing all sort of Islamic socialists taking power, federal, state, and local across America this midterm. Okay, I feel better now.
You got that off your chest. All right, Patrick. Yes. I totally see what she's saying. But of course, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can pay attention to the vital issue that Annie's bringing up, no doubt about it. But we also can say, look, prophetically, it looks like actually what she's saying fits in with what we're watching. Because what we're talking about is the decline of America, no longer the superpower, militarily, economically, morally on the world stage. We're going down. Annie just described it, right? And then you and I are sitting here watching the prophetic side saying, but the Middle East is rising. The money and attention and commerce is going there. That's where the wealth and the power is shifting. So that's why I brought you both on, because the three of us can discuss this. And I think what Annie just said fits perfectly well with what it is you and I are trying to say. America's going down, says Annie, and you and I are saying, and the Middle East is rising.
How much do you think that President Trump cares if congressmen are elected or anybody gets elected in our country who are Muslims? Do you think he really cares at this point? Because he's in bed with all these other people already, financially and otherwise.
It might actually help his cause.
I know. That's what I'm saying. There might be a hidden motive on his part to pull his punches and not call this stuff out. You would. And think
have you noticed that? Fox News. I don't watch Fox News much, but it does stay on in one of the rooms that I walk through, and I did see again. They must be talking about it a lot. Because I've walked through the room the last 4 or 5 days to see the DSA logo and bullet points on the screen. Now, there's no way, since I don't sit and watch Fox News, hardly ever. But it's on because there are other people that want to see what they're doing. But if I'm just walking through the room and I see that up there, and I've done that now about 5 times the last 5 days, and are you telling me I just happen to be walking through the room when they talk about it the one time that day and the one time that day, and wow, I better go buy a lottery ticket? Well, no. That means they're talking about it a lot. If I keep seeing it just as I'm walking through the room, that means they're hitting that thing a lot. So why is Fox News talking so much about the DSA? Why are they not talking about the green side of the red-green axis? Because I'm not walking through and seeing the list of the map of all the Islamists running for office around the country, Annie.
Mm-hmm. It's literally what Patrick just said. When the head of the government that you are allies with, or you're on the same side, when they tell you to do not touch the narrative that I'm building my entire empire on, you don't touch the narrative. Green disappears. I think it was on a private call with you, Brian, when I said, have you noticed in the last 18 months, the word Islam doesn't fly around much anymore, remember? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Obama purged the word jihad and Islamic terror from FBI. Well, Trump administration purged the word Islam altogether.
Well, when you hear about Mandani, it's communist Mandani, Marxist Mandani, socialist Mandani, progressive Mandani, right? You don't ever hear Islamic, pro-Islamic Marxist Mandani, right?
Well, not just pro-Islamic. also the Shia 12 Imamer, who was trying to meet up with Iranian delegation, who also the very first act in office was not a communist act. It was an Islamist act by revoking two executive orders that would expose Jews in New York to hatred, bigotry, and anti-Semitism. His first actions were Islamic, not communist.
And the question is, Patrick, as we get ready to wrap with you guys, is let's say the Middle East was full of Italians. Would it matter to Donald Trump what your religion is if the center of the world and its energy and oil and everything is there? Would Donald Trump or any pragmatic leader like him care what the religion is? Would he find a way to work with them? I mean, he built his empire working with Republicans, independents, and Democrats, did he not?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, he said, I gave money to all of them. I gave money to all of them because I was trying to do my job and build my company and get buildings built. Well, it didn't really matter to him if they were a Republican or Democrat. So does it really matter to him that they're Muslims or if they're Italians or they're Irish? I mean, whatever was running around in the Middle East, if it wasn't Muslims, would he care? He'd find a way to work with them because it's about what's under the ground, isn't it? It's about the trade routes. It's about the transits, the waterways, the ports, right?
Yeah. When you can shake hands with the leader of a country and you know he's the leader of the country, like a dictator, one guy, that's all it takes. One handshake can seal a deal. No committees, no parliaments, no laws to, worry about, no regulations to worry about. It's just you and me. You're the dictator and I'm the wannabe dictator. This is easy pickings for him in the Middle East because there's so many dictators. They're all dictators at this point. Doesn't matter who they are. If he can get anyone on his side, he's got a captive for life. Think of the spy sheik in the UAE who dumped $500 million into Trump's financial company, World Liberty Financial. How did that happen? Well, obviously he met with a guy and made a deal with him, and he all of a sudden he has a partner, a financial partner. Easy peasy, right? This is the way business is done, by networking.
All right, technocracy.news. And by the way, again, he's also the leader of Iraq, has been called a technocrat.
Yes, exactly so. And for good reason. That's defensible.
Well, we're going to have to stay on this because it's moving and moving very fast. Technocracy.news is Patrick Wood and his new book. What's it called, Patrick?
The New Economics of Technocracy. You will own nothing.
You can find it there. Oh, and by the way, let's not forget who was the keynote speaker at the Great Reset Conference. The very first speaker up was Xi Jinping. Remember when they had their Great Reset Conference 2-3 years ago? First speaker up was Xi Jinping. Doesn't that tell you he's part of this?
Yes, indeed.
It's a club, right?
Yes, it's a club and you ain't in it.
Yeah, and Donald Trump is trying to herd the club down a certain corridor and path. And he seems to be like he's actually doing it. And the question will be, will he be able to do it to a point where we don't find ourselves having to come in and defend Taiwan? They come to some kind of business deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Annie is liveuptofreedom.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Her book is called Architecture of Jihad, right, Annie?
Yes, Architecture of Jihad, now available in all formats: paperback, hardcover, Kindle, and audiobook.
Can you imagine how much is going to happen between now and October 23rd when we meet together, Lord willing, for our 22nd annual Worldview Weekend? I mean, can you imagine how much is going to unfold between now and then to talk about?
Oh, I have changed my presentation 5 times already.
I haven't even started trying to figure it out because I'm like, it's way too early because stuff's moving so fast.
Exactly.
Wow.
I did come to that conclusion 2 days ago. I'm like, stop tweaking. Just leave it alone. We'll write it a week before.
That's what you're going to have to do. But it's going to be a great event. I'm glad you guys are going to be there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brennan. Thank you, Patrick.
You bet. My pleasure.
Look at that. A Middle East expert with a Bible prophecy, technocrat, globalist, New World Order, the Bilderbergers, the Trial Error Commission expert. I mean, wow, what a team we have here. Come hear them in person, by the way. Friday night, as I said, October 23rd, Saturday, October 24th, you can get your free tickets. They are free for the first time in 22 years, but you must register at worldviewtube.com/events. Over 800 seats already gone. worldviewtube.com/events. worldviewtube.com/events. Get registered. If you're a Vault member, you'll be able to live stream it, but only if you're a member of the Vault. It's too expensive to bring the crew out there, all the camera equipment and crew, and then the cost of the streaming. So you will have to pay and be a VIP member of our Vault to stream it. So, but why would you not want to? You get access to streaming the conference live at worldviewtube.com/vault. You get access to 36 years of radio shows, TV shows, ebooks, audiobooks, classes that you can take online. Our Bible software program is coming up very, very soon. Let me go there, worldviewtube.com/. Let me just go to the Vault. Let me go there, Logan. Hang on one second, my buddy. And let me log in. I guess I need to log in, don't I? Because we're very close. I don't want to say how close because I'm not going to release it until it is done the way I want. Our very powerful Bible and Worldview software program that will allow you to search 36 years of radio shows, TV shows, ebooks, audiobooks, transcripts, and more. Talked to our IT guy today, and he was telling me about all of the different things that the search is going to be able to allow you to do. He said, you're going to love it, Brandon. Logan, how do I get to that part when I get in there in the Vault? Hover over Vault and then go to search. All right. It's loading. And there it is, folks. Now, it is not working to the capacity that it will be. But if you are a Vault member, you can go there, hover over the menu for Vault, click search. And
Click
again,
Vault search.
Vault search. And have you been using this at all? It's not done yet, but have you been using any of it, Logan?
I've done it a few times. Right now, it's not answering. It's more bringing up content, articles, and stuff like that.
But see, you're going to be able to do filters.
Yep.
He hasn't got that done yet. As he was telling me about all the different things you're going to be able to do.
It also type in like what is. Type in what is.
What is?
Or what? No. See, look, it's giving you. Go back up. It gives you.
What is replacement theology?
Yeah, so it'll give you,
options,
suggestions.
Oh, interesting. But let me just type in, let's say, what is Fabian socialism? Now, when it's done, it's going to bring it up as radio shows, TV shows. It'll answer the question, and then it will provide you with, if you want to watch a video on it, you'll be able to do that. Now, this is not the same thing as Worldviewpedia, Logan. This is not the same thing as Worldviewpedia. This is just the search capacity of the Vault. Worldviewpedia, you'll ask it a question, and it'll actually answer it back for you in a chat window. Do I have that right, Logan?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think I do too. So there's a lot of benefits to belonging. Okay. Worldviewtube.com/vault. All my books are there, ebooks, audiobooks, and so much more. So please join. All right. Worldviewtube.com/vault. All right. Coming up next, Mike Lindell. He got 2 big endorsements today. Not 1, but 2 from President Trump. We'll read them, show them, and talk to Mike Lindell right after this. Friends, this is Brandon House. For more than a year now, I've been teaching through the book of Revelation, and the response from you has been overwhelming. You've asked me again and again, when are you going to put this study in print? We want to mark it up. We want to share it with our families. Well, it's here. My brand new 2-volume commentary on the book of Revelation, verse by verse, chapter by chapter. This is not a watered down, allegorized replacement theology approach to Revelation. This is a literal, grammatical, historical study, the way the Lord intended his word to be read. And I connect the prophecy of Revelation to the headlines you're watching unfold right now, the rise of global government and the convergence of end-time events the Lord Jesus warned us about. Folks, we are living in serious days, and there has never been a more important time to understand what God has told us about what is coming. Get your 2-volume Revelation commentary today at worldviewstore.com. That's worldviewstore.com. Joining me now is Mike Lindell. Have you heard the news? Oh, yeah. Look at this today, folks. This is from President Donald J. Trump's Truth Social post today, July 15th, 2026. Mike Lindell, the Pillow Man, and one of America's greatest and most hardworking patriots, is running to be governor of Minnesota, replacing one of the worst and most incompetent governors in the history of the USA. Early primary voting has begun, and if given the chance, Mike will be spectacular. He truly loves Minnesota, as do I, and wants to bring it back from oblivion and embarrassment. He could do it. Nobody has sacrificed more than Mike Lindell in fighting for our country, especially when it comes to election integrity. He truly deserves everything he gets. He will make Minnesota great again. Mike Lindell has my complete and total endorsement. He will not let you down. Good luck, Mike. President Donald J. Trump. And then he followed it up with another one a little bit later in the day. Here is what the president put out. Amy Klobuchar, the lightly respected senator from Minnesota, is running for governor to take the place of the current corrupt and incompetent Tim Walz. I've gotten to know Klobuchar over the years and find her to be equally as incompetent as Walz, and probably equally as corrupt in that. As a high government official from Minnesota, she knew everything that was going on. If the elections in Minnesota weren't rigged, any Republican could win. But they were, and that is why nobody has won there since Richard Nixon many years ago. I thought I won it all 3 times, only to be disappointed in the end. Vote for Mike Lindell for governor, who has my complete and total endorsement. And forget about these corrupt Democrats like Amy Klobuchar. Make Minnesota great again. President Donald J. Trump. Joining me now is Mike Lindell. Well, Mike, congratulations. I called you today to say how excited we are for you. I know a lot of our audience is excited. Your story is quite remarkable. I said to Logan today, I said, think about this guy's story. Recovering addict, great CEO, makes a company into hundreds of millions, takes on voter fraud. They go after him like crazy. He doesn't stop. He keeps landing on his feet, and he runs for governor. The GOP in Minnesota try to stop him. We got more news on that. And the sitting president of the United States comes back into office and puts out 2 posts in one day saying total endorsement. Congratulations.
Yes. Well, thanks, Brandon. And yeah, what a day it's been. It was so amazing. I get up this morning, get in the office here. I came in early, about 4 o'clock this morning, 4:30, and nobody was here. And it was a couple hours later, all of a sudden I get a text going, wow, congratulations. And I'm going, what? And I called my wife. I'm going, well, he endorsed us today. But I want to tell everyone, they're saying, well, why did he wait? You know, when the president was the first one I told that I was running for governor back in December, I told him, I called him up, and other than my wife, he's the only one that knew at that time. And I said, sure, I'm going to run for Minnesota governor. And I didn't ask him for his endorsement, everybody. I wanted him to endorse me based on merit rather than on our great friendship. And now was perfect timing today. With tomorrow, the big news coming out, the big declassifying all the evidence, or a lot of the evidence, I don't know what all is going to be there, that I fought hard to get for 5.5 years, that people on the, hundreds of thousands of people on the ground with Cause of America, the Election Crime Bureau. This is what I've been fighting for. So everybody can see what I've seen. Yeah, and one of the things, Brandon, and then they'll go, gee, no wonder Mike never gave up. No wonder Mike risked it all. Or no wonder Tina Peters still talking about, even though she had to do time in prison. No wonder all these people never stopped talking and believing that we will get to paper ballots hand counted. But Brandon, this is kind of the position we're in now with all of the media that we have now, all the social media platforms, great podcasts, great shows like your own here that our voice is so much bigger now, so they can't even suppress this and suppress. In Minnesota, they were suppressing me, the media, that I was even running for governor. Just last week, an article was Kendall Qualls. And this was in Alpha News, a big time conservative media outlet in Minnesota. They put out a thing. Kendall Qualls is very upset because Lisa Damath won't have a debate with him. They're the other two candidates in the Republican primary here. And I'm going, well, where's my name? So interestingly enough, today it was like old times, Brandon. You remember back in the day we were together, and every single day it'd be nonstop from calls for me being in the news, of every single news outlet in the world calling. And today was like living the old times. My assistant, she goes, this is really hard. Allie had never been through a day like this, my executive assistant now. And I said, this is the way every day was back then. You just go from one media to the next. But with all the interest in the media, and all the articles out there, from ABC, NBC, you got CNN, the Post, everyone, they've all been calling, even the local media, even the Minneapolis Star and Tribune. But there's one outlet I do want to see, I want to hear from. Logan, maybe you can give a quick call to Fox and see what they have to say.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Are you saying Fox News Channel is not covering your two endorsements?
This is unbelievable. Fox News, they haven't even talked about that I'm running for governor in Minnesota. But when I get the president's endorsement, come on, Fox. I mean, you can't make this up. And then, you expect it, I don't know. It's just, and Newsmax too, but I want to give them a little chance. I did call Chris Ruddy and said, hey, you guys never have me on. I'm running for governor now. I promise I won't say anything that rhymes with Dominion. I mean, Dominion dropped the lawsuit, everybody, so it's like.
And I just went to foxnews.com and I just put in Control F Lindell, to look for your name on the website. So there's not even a news story on the website that I can find.
No, they don't cover me. They haven't since, you guys remember, lawfare started with Fox News when Smartmatic sued Fox News on February 4th of 2021. Not Dominion. Smartmatic sued Fox News February 4th, 2021. That started lawfare in our country that hadn't been done since the 1700s of this magnitude. And you had right immediately Salem Media, Newsmax, and Fox, trusted news outlets for conservatives, went silent. They've never had anybody on there talk about going to paper ballots, our election platforms. Again, it's not talking about machines. It's talking about securing our election platforms, Brandon. It's disgusting. How many times have I said they become weather channels that don't report hurricanes or tornadoes? Can you imagine you're a weather channel that people tune in to watch, and the two worst things, you're going, wait a minute, my house just blew away. Well, what is Fox News? What are they? I wonder if when I win governor, if they're going to report that. You can't make this stuff up.
Well, it's already coming out tonight, that you are likely to win the primary on August 11th. I have a new shot here, a screenshot. I'll bring it up here showing that. So it's already circulating now that you've gotten this endorsement that you are likely to win the primary August 11th.
Well, yeah, and the polls that came out, if you guys all look at any of my social media a poll came out, the last 5 polls of the people in Minnesota, I've been number one by 7 points at least. And the poll just came out with the president endorsing me, and then I'm a 30-point favorite over Lisa Damath. So let's say, so which one you have there now? Is this a betting site or what is this, Brandon?
That is. What is it? What is
That's
that?
Polymarket.
That is Polymarket? Yeah, Polymarket.
So you mean, Polymarket, now I've been down there. That's just people betting, but it shifted. Now they got me as the favorite?
Yeah, since the endorsement, that has now got you up and winning.
Oh, wow. Wow, isn't that something? But if you go to my Twitter feed, or anywhere, but the big data poll that came out, I was favored by 7%, and now I'm favored by, I believe it's 47 to 17 or something like that, or 40 to 17. So But I'm not going to let up in the primary. You know that. I mean, that's what I'm doing every day. I'm 100% all in. I put out over 4,000 yard signs with a couple thousand every week or every half week here. As money's coming in, we're putting it out there. They asked me today, Brand, they go, the media outlets here in Minnesota, well, Mike, how much money has your campaign raised? I said, upwards of $3 million. Well, how much do you have in your account? Probably hardly anything because we spend it when it comes in. I'm not saving it for a rainy day. It's pouring outside. What am I saying? My donors, they want me to campaign with that money. Hello. By the way, everybody, lindellgov.com. You support every dime. You'll be the best money you ever spent on a campaign in history. And you know me, I'm going to market. It's going to be, we're ready to beat Amy Klobuchar. And they could say that's going to be, will that be the biggest upset ever? No, I think Donald Trump, when beating Hillary Clinton, he was down by 18 when the day I met him on August 15th of 2016, and he made a bold statement, I'll be in first place by Labor Day, and he was.
Wow. Let's talk about the GOP in Minnesota. How is the
my gosh,
let's
this is shameful. Yeah, it's just shameful, you guys. This guy, our chairman here, Alex, I think his last name, Pollock or something, Pollex or whatever it is, he is the chairman of our GOP in Minnesota. And remember, we had all the problems with him. He made it for our delegates in Minnesota. It was a pay-per play up in Duluth. The machines went bad. I mean, this guy is total establishment, uniparty. I don't even know what he is. But he puts out this disgusting statement on the Minnesota GOP Republican website. I'm their number one favorite with all the people. Brandon, read that garbage.
Here's what it says. He says, statement from the Minnesota Republican Party chairman, Alex Pilash, on President Trump's endorsement of Mike Lindell. Quote, we are surprised by President Trump's endorsement of Mike Lindell. We strongly support the president and his agenda, but Minnesota Republicans must choose the candidate best positioned to defeat Amy Klobuchar. When the going got tough under Tim Walz, Mike Lindell left Minnesota for Texas. Now he wants Minnesota Republicans to overlook his serious financial baggage, public records showing tens of thousands of dollars in delinquent property taxes, significant electability concerns, and unanswered questions surrounding his running mate. Minnesota cannot afford to nominate a ticket that gives Democrats an easy target and creates the very possibility of another DFL trifecta. Other Republican candidates have spent years strengthening our party, supporting candidates, raising resources, and doing the hard work required to win. Republican delegates consider Mike Lindell at the state convention, and he finished third. We believe that is where he will finish in the August primary. These are serious times, and they demand serious disciplined leadership. Minnesota needs a governor who can unite Republicans, earn the support of independent voters, and defeat Amy Klobuchar, end quote. He's not going to be sending you any Christmas cards, is he?
Well, let's start. I don't even know where to start there. Shame on you, Alex. Shame on you. Let's start there. Remember the old shame on you, Alan Duke? This guy's putting out false information like Alan Duke. I mean, this is disgusting. This is what he did. Let's go back to what he did with me in Duluth, you guys. I took third. Well, Alex didn't let me go to any of the debates. He did not let me go to any of the forums so I could put out what I'm going to do with my budget for Minnesota, the problems I'm going to solve. I didn't get to talk to the delegates. And his little system up there, even though the RNC, remember, Brandon, when I ran for RNC chair, one of the things that came out of that was a resolution, everybody, the RNC passed, which was paper ballots, hand counted, same day voting, precinct level, and voter ID. Well, we're up in Duluth for the convention, and they want everybody to abide by their little pick that hasn't worked in 24 years, and they've been doing it since 1994. And so I wasn't going to abide by their endorsement. I said, you know what? The public wants me. They chose me. I'm favored by a lot. This was without the president's endorsement. So I get up to Duluth, and by their rules, if you don't have by the third round, by the fourth round, if you don't have, they eliminate the person that's in third. It start with like 8 guys. It goes 10 rounds. Well, then once their person that they picked, Lisa Damath, was their darling establishment. She's our Speaker of the House in Minnesota. She's the rhino. She's the one that all of the people in the grassroots at the People's Choice, she would not be it. And well, all of a sudden she's losing to Kenneth Qualls, the other guy. So what happens? They shut down the machines, just like in the presidential election. The machines, they go, the machines are bad. There's problem. There's glitches. So we asked them, we said, well, why don't you go to paper ballots, hand count it? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Alex says we can't do that. So what does he do? For 3 hours, they sat there and wondered what to do. They hoped that the delegates left that were going to vote for Kendall Qualls would leave, but they didn't leave. And so they finally had to give it to him. But remember, Lisa Damath said that she would honor the endorsement, but she didn't. Alex said, oh, there was problems with the voting machines. You get to keep running too. They don't want Mike Lindell. It's disgusting. But let's start with, Mike moved to Texas when the tough got going. No, I married a gal in Texas and I have houses in both places. And during that time, when I was under attack more than anybody in the country, you've seen him, the president, nobody's been attacked more for helping the country that he put in his endorsement. And MyPillow being the most attacked company in the history of the United States. No, I didn't move my company out of Minnesota. I didn't shut everything down. I didn't bankrupt everything when Dominion sued us for $1.3 billion with a B, everybody. I stood fast because I knew we had to secure our elections. I formed a team of 300,000 people called the Cause of America in all 50 states. I put $80 million towards anything that would stick, not just fighting the lawsuits, but putting everything I had, putting a network together that's LindellTV.com, that's publicly traded now. This is what I did. And I fought to keep my company here in Minnesota. So living in both places, spending time in both places. Brandon, you know me, I didn't spend time in either place. I flew around this country for 3 years meeting with politicians and people going, we've got to secure our election. Yep. So his little thing there.
You were speaking at events all over this country.
Every place, and attorney generals and secretary of state. So they can sit there and he can say, oh, Mike left for Texas when the tough got going. No, I didn't leave because the tough got going. That's where my wife lived. And now obviously I moved back to Minnesota a couple of years ago because I'm going, we got to save Minnesota. I know I could have pulled my company out and just went to Texas in the last 4 years. I believe it's 50-some thousand people have left Minnesota more than moved here to Minnesota. That's the net difference. That's bad news for Minnesota. I did a fundraiser in Texas, Brandon, and I said, you guys, if I don't win this, if you don't donate money to help me win this, to win Minnesota, it's over. People are going to flood out of Minnesota, and guess where we're going? Texas, Florida, South Dakota, other places where the cost of living is you can live.
Tennessee.
Minnesota. And this Alex that wrote that, you got me on a little vent here, Brandon. This Alex that wrote this, this guy, I'm sorry, what have you done to stop the fraud in Minnesota, Alex, with our party? The same input will give us the same output. We're tired of losing here to corrupt politicians when you got Waltz and Keith Ellison and Elon Omar. We're the laughing stock of the country, but more importantly, we've got to save our citizens in Minnesota and bring the cost of living down. You haven't done nothing for that. And then when he says, well, Mike can't win, we need a candidate that can draw people in the middle or left. Let me tell you something, Alex, I'm the only one that can win because I can get national money. I can raise more money for the party than anyone combined. I'll raise more money by accident than any of the other candidates would do on purpose. And the other thing is this, with this election, I have the marketing. We have the marketing. I know what to do. I can go right in the inner city, which I did in the Chicago in the presidential election, and get people in there. But what I did for the president, we interviewed people going, why are you voting for Donald Trump? You've never voted Republican ever. And those commercials that came out of their mouth were so powerful. I'm going to go all over Minnesota, Brandon. You think the people downtown Minneapolis have forgotten what I did for Minneapolis, helping them out when I came out of crack addiction and helped Teen Challenge, homeless people in addiction? They're going to go down there. I'm going to interview them, put out those for ads. I don't have to convince the people. People will convince the people. Hey, because what do we have to overcome here? Overcome what the media tried to destroy my reputation and just called me a conspiracy theorist for 5 years. I could have just walked away with millions of dollars that I had over my life of living the American dream on steroids, but no. I care about people and care about this country and care about Minnesota. So they didn't win. They didn't win. You said it yourself, being able to, you probably were surprised yourself. It's like they keep attacking, but by God's grace, we've gotten through and we're still standing.
And then, by the way, I want to mention the flag real quick. That's the old flag. That's not Walz's new flag.
That's the old Minnesota flag. You guys, let me tell you a little story about our government in Minnesota. If anyone that says this isn't an epic battle of good and evil, in Minnesota, they put this in basically a Somalian flag that we have now. But more importantly, even worse, Tim Walz put a satanic statue in our Capitol, accepted it from the Satanists, then accepted an award for it. And he told us in Minnesota, we had to be fair to the devil. You can't make this stuff up, everybody. And he put a thing out, with all the fraud going on, but he also put a thing out last fall before he had even announced, this is how much they fear me running, Brandon, is he sent out flyers all over Minnesota, spent millions on it, I think. I don't know how much he spent, but it says, do we want Mike Lindell coming into Minnesota and bringing Trumpism in here and ruining our family values? I mean, think about that. Now, there's old Tim now putting in the Somalian flag. Look at that. It's disgusting. You can't make this up. This guy, he should be in prison. The problem, remember, Brandon, I always said we got to melt down the voting machines and turn them into prison bars? Well, we got a big problem here in Minnesota. We've got more people that should be behind bars then we're going to have to recycle all these machines. I mean, it's disgusting. From Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, how crooked. And then,
well, let's talk about those machines. You've settled with Dominion. What about Smartmatic? All those companies.
Yeah, well, it's people put that. Old Alex put that in there. Mike's financial problems. Yeah, we were sued for $1.3 billion with a B, and that's gone. Dominion dropped it 2 weeks ago. Now, do you hear me saying, about Dominion? No, every voting machine should be melted down and go make blenders. Take your companies, go make blenders. I'm never going to stop talking, ever. And they know that.
And what about Smartmatic? Where you go with that?
Well, let's go. I got one other one. Remember the $5 million challenge, Brandon? In Minnesota, that was overturned by the 8th Circuit last year. A year ago today, or a year ago this month. Mike was right. His evidence was good. And now we have the last one, Smartmatic, which is sitting here in Minneapolis like a parked car, where the judge kind of doesn't really know what to do with it, because last year, in a summary judgment, he found me guilty of defamation without going to trial, and my pillow was guilty by association. You can't make this up. So I get to go to trial to find out how much the jury's going to say I owe. Well, then, interesting enough, 1 week later, all the evidence dropped where they were charged. Smartmatic was charged with bribery in the Philippines, all these crimes against countries and their voting. And that now I think it's sitting there parked like, what's this judge going to do now? As we, this is going to be going in for an appeal, but it's just sitting there right now because actually the Smartmatic put in a ruling for Mike Lindell. He wants the judge to put a permanent gag order on me that I can never talk about Smartmatic again. So that, that was one of the things that.
And now tomorrow night, the president is going to do a primetime address from the Oval Office. And I've talked to a few people that have been working on some of that. And I'm told that you're going to have some information coming out that looks like what Mike Lindell was producing and putting out a few years ago.
Well, there's only one truth, Brandon. Everything I put out, there's not going to be any surprises to me. Everything that will come out tomorrow, I guarantee it came through me or came through our teams. As we were like a big hovable wheel. We have 800 pages that we just put out a week and a half ago on Lindell TV. You can check it. It's a library of exclusive evidence that you guys can check it out, go through it. And these aren't just things like subjective things. These are facts, backed by facts. Now, the DOJ, when they come out with this, when the president comes out with this, what my hope is that everybody would cover it, including Fox, so that people can see for themselves. And if once you see and know what I know, or like your Tina Peters or even the president, anyone that's seen this, you're going, hey, if we don't fix this and get rid of the voting machine, it's over. We can do all we want, everybody. You think, too big to rig and all this stuff. And, like they said in Minnesota, I'm going to get everybody out to vote. And if that ideally, Brandon, it would be that these midterm elections, that all the fraud, they try and steal it all with. Now we know where to look. We know the deviations, everything, where the whole country would say, come on, open up those machines and let's see what's behind the door. Just like if you're missing money in your bank, Brandon, I know you probably have bank problems before where bank errors and you go, hey, I'm missing some money here. What do? You go to the bank and say, where's my money this deposit that's not in there? And then what do? They look in the computer and say, oh, there it is. I'm sorry, Mr. House. But they don't do that because machines are proprietary. And we can't, what I hope too tomorrow night, everybody, that people really see that they can really reach out to their politicians, and I'm talking Democrats and Republicans, of the people, to get to just go after them and say, you guys, at least at the very minimum, pass the Save America Act now. You got to have ID to vote. You need 2 forms of ID to shovel snow out in socialist New York now. You got to check your ID and everything, get on a plane, check into a hotel, everything. In Minnesota, you can go buy cough syrup and you get carded sometimes. Seriously.
Yeah, you buy Sudafed or something like that, antihistamine, they want to see your driver's license. Well, tomorrow night we've got Garland Favorito coming on right after the president. We would love to have you come on for a few minutes afterwards to tell us what about, what you think about what he's going to present and does present.
You let me know. I would love to come on.
And by the way, we did just find this article.
Back in the news.
Minnesota Capitol displayed Satanist thank you plaque for Governor Tim Walz.
Yeah, that was the plaque he got for doing it in the first place. Isn't that something? So I got to search through the Capitol when I'm voted in governor, and we're gonna track down that not only the plaque but also the original statue, and that thing's getting destroyed on day one. Then we're gonna ban Sharia law. I'm telling you, this stuff is so evil in Minnesota. Is like, I'm telling you, Brandon, when I was at the Rose Garden that time and I said, a nation had turned its back on God. We need to pray for God had been taken out of our schools. We need to pray for grace, God's grace, and get back in the Word and spend time with our families. I could have been talking about Minnesota. The eyes are all on Minnesota right now. And I think with the president's endorsement now, we can get the word out in the media. One of the things is when I'm going to get this budget done real quick, but the solutions I have, and I got an illegal immigrant solution, Brandon, that I just told a little bit about it on one of our crazy outlets here in Minneapolis, our very left-leaning, as far left as you can get outlet. And she said to me, she goes, it was Esme Murphy, and she says, well, Mike, what do you think? I don't think Republican, they're not going to like this, and the president's not going to go for this. I said, this is a common sense solution that solves a problem for the whole country. I said, the president is very common sense. He'll probably look at it and go, that's the best idea ever. But you know what? I'm not doing stuff to please all of the people, just some of the people. We got to do stuff that makes Minnesota affordable. I don't care what party, what you're affiliated with, or what you're a liberal, conservative, or who you are. That Minnesota is the worst in the nation now. If you add it all together, when you talk about property tax, corporate tax, sales tax, income tax, all these different things, you can't afford to live here, and people are just pulling out and leaving. And this is it.
What happened to our buddy Kurt Olson? Where is attorney and former Navy SEAL Kurt Olson?
Kurt Olson is working for the administration, and praise the Lord, he got in there when he did. This is, everybody, if you're just tuning in now and you don't know who Kurt Olson is, I couldn't have done this without him. Kurt and I met in February of 2021. And when we first met, he was the attorney that also helped write Pennsylvania versus Texas with Ken Paxton when they went after the stolen election. And when I first met Kurt, a little story here, everybody. Kurt and I, we met. We're at this hotel, and we're sitting there. We met like 20 minutes ago, but it's the same day that Dominion sued me that morning. So he was there for the first call, and the first call came in from, I believe it was the New York Times, and I said, "Here, watch this, Kurt." And I hit the button so it would be on speaker, and she goes, "Mike, Dominion sued you. How do you feel?" I said, "It's a great day for America." And Kurt looked at me like, "Well, that's a different attitude to have." I go, "No, it is, because we need to expose all of this." And yes, I took a hit like probably no other, over the last 5 years, but I wouldn't change a thing because we're getting closer and closer every day. But Kurt became Brandon like the filter. It was information coming through me from phone calls from 20 hours a day and emails of evidence and everything pouring in. And I would just hear Kurt, check this, call this person, Kurt, call this. And he would sift through what's real, what's not. And you had to take it all in. And because we were looking for everything and gathering it all. And Kurt was amazing. He worked nonstop, 18 hours a day. And
now he's in the administration?
Yeah, then he got put in the administration quite a while ago.
Has he been helping to go through some of this information we're going to hear about tomorrow night?
He was right under the president, Brandon, for months. And I think 100 and some days, like 4 or 5 months. Then he got moved. And what he's working on now, he can't really talk to me over the phone, but it's all the stuff we're talking about. I'm sure a lot of the stuff that I turned in last February, all the evidence to the DOJ, and then Tulsi Gabbard, all the stuff they were working on. I think a lot of it now, John Solomon's involved with at least getting the word out on it. And Kurt's been, I can't, it's not like the good old days where Kurt and I can talk over the phone, and because he's working for the administration. And I'm going, wait a minute, hold on. Do you hear that, FBI? This is why Kurt and I don't talk over the phone now.
By the way, did you ever get your cell phone back?
Yeah, I got my phone back 3 years to the day. It was completely damaged. The back was the glass thing, but no big deal. Obviously, I had a copy, but I did get back pictures that were trapped in there and my grandkids.
Did you get those back?
Before he passed away, I was able to get the pictures out.
Now, did it take the second Trump administration to get that phone back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was Brandon. It was involved in Arctic frost. So once Arctic frost got exposed, which was 90 some people, I think 9 senators. They say maybe even more now. This was Jack Smith attacking and Biden ordering this. The administration ordering the DOJ, the FBI, the IRS, in our case, to attack and spy on all these people, but attack one company. Guess what company?
My Pillow.
My Pillow. And so when they did that there was kind of 2 paths of Arctic frost for me, because we've had to be involved in all these investigations on them now, which we have been. I've been to DC numerous times with senators and showing all this stuff that we got.
Are you going to get compensated? Is the government going to compensate you or anyone else for that?
I don't know, but they had 3 third-party analysis, and My Pillow alone, it cost them over $430 million.
That's how much it cost My Pillow.
That's how much it cost. $430 million was the average of the 3 independent auditors, and that's brand value. And myself, they figure that could be, they're still actually working on that. That could be upwards of $600 million. What it did to my
Well, that
brand.
could make you whole, could it not?
Well, no, I don't. Things like that. You're not. This is just what you have, and then.
But I mean, if you were to get something back for that damage,
you turn in this form S95, and maybe you go to them. Brand, I'm just looking to get my employees that were my employee-owned company. They were all stockholders that worked hard for 15 years or 20 years. Some of them that have been with me since day one. Back when I invented the pillow in 2005, they were just decimated. For getting any, in in pay and money they would have had of what the company was worth then. At one time, we're taking My Pillow public. They told me it'd be upwards of $1 billion. We were grossing 400 million a year. We sold 85 million My Pillows. So, but they didn't come after. What they came after, you guys, they debanked us. Merchant Server, American Express, Walmart, those guys all canceled. They were all part of Arctic Frost. Not the original machine cancellation. This was all our government. They took my phone. That was just a little side wing, taking my phone to spy on that. But they went to our vendors that we do business with, and they said, we have emails and stuff that said, and subpoenaed our banks and them and said, we won't do all this if you stop doing business with My Pillow.
And Mike, we still have almost all of that. We have almost all of that, because when you called me when you were on your way back from southern Minnesota, where they had grabbed your phone, I think at a Hardee's, and you called me and said you're going to be coming in, and you did, and we did a show. We have that. When you were being debanked and getting a letter from your bank, we did a show on that. We have all of that. So anyone that doubts all that, we have all of that archived. We have it.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys check it out. Watch that. I mean, it's, back then they're going, boy, what did Mike Lindell do now? Remember, the FBI, when they surrounded me at that Hardee's, it was 12:30. They followed me down duck hunting in Iowa. I'm sitting in my office here. It's 2 hours to the Iowa border, and Mankato's right in between. My friend and I, they pulled up in front, one at the side, one in the back, and they didn't look like you'd see in a movie with FBI guys with glasses and dark vehicles. No, these were just they looked like a bunch of thugs, to be honest with you. I told my buddy, I said, something's going down, hold on. And I opened my door up against the Hardee's, the drive-through there. I said, who are you and what do you want? He goes, FBI. I said, I don't believe you. Show me your badge. He digs it out and shows it over the vehicle. I said, I still don't believe you. How about you? Show me your badge. And she showed me hers, and I said, okay, what do you want? And I pulled ahead. And of course, that started the 2 and 3 hour. I think it was 3 hours where I witnessed to them for over an hour and chewed them out. And the guy goes, Mike, we have things to do. I've never seen anything like you. And because I wanted to get arrested, everybody. I wanted to get on Fox News and tell about our nation being in trouble with our election and getting these voting machines. But they had orders. Brandon, I did find this out. Do you know the FBI that day, everybody, had orders to not arrest me no matter what?
Oh, wow.
So when they went to take my phone, okay, and I said no, and Kurt Olson was on the phone then when they finally let me call my attorney. If he goes, Mike, you don't understand what they're saying is they're not going to arrest you, but they're going to get that phone. In other words, and I talked to a guy later about this, and I could have hauled up and punched one of them, done anything, and they had orders not to arrest me. You can't make that up, Brandon.
Because they knew the public relations problem would create for the administration, Biden administration?
Who knows? I don't know what would have happened or why they had that order. They didn't want me talking on TV about getting rid of the voting machines. I think it went that deep. Remember, this was Arctic Frost. The order by Biden's government, they wanted me to shut up. Mike Lindell, quit talking about these machines and paper ballots. And you think about this, here's the danger in what I just told you, everybody. If this were to happen at night, if any of you have read my book, I got one right here. What are the odds from crack addict to CEO? I've had guns to my head. I've been in some of the worst places in the United States and Mexico. And I'll tell you what, based on my past, if this would have been at night, you think I would have opened my door and said, who are you? I would have bashed through them thinking they were bad guys, which maybe they were bad FBI guys, but I would have bashed through them and went on a high-speed chase trying to find a real police officer or a sheriff to say, who are these guys? You understand that it was very dangerous what they did, knowing me. They could have came right here to my corporate, walked in, said, hey, we need a copy of your phone. We have a warrant here for your phone. I mean, come on. That's bizarre the way they went about that. And
why do you think they did that, Mike, that way, instead of just coming to your office?
That part, I don't know. It's almost like it was a setup, but if it was a setup, like I said, they followed me all the way down to Iowa duck hunting. They watched me out hunt my buddy. We've talked about that before. But the point of the matter is I don't know. I chewed them out there because these were also FBI guys that pulled Sharona Bishop's down the bashed
Pulled her daughter out and grabbed her by the hoodie, right?
Bashed her door in, grabbed her by a hoodie. Another one, and the same two of these same FBI guys were from Colorado. They also pulled one daughter and another gal out in the middle of the yard in her underwear at 13 years old, and it was disgusting. And I chewed him out in that parking lot, and I said, "What kind of people are you? You bash someone's door in, a citizen? You're coming after a citizen, America's mom." And you know what he said? She didn't open her door fast enough. I said, "Are we supposed to have little egg timers here for 34, 33 FBI? You're go." Oh, too late. Sorry, your door's wrecked. I mean, it's disgusting. And but if you remember, Brandon, when the FBI took my phone, everybody, I had to sign a sheet, and on the sheet it said, papers were about this thick. It said, "Now this is an ongoing investigation, and if you have the right to tell people about it, but we would prefer you didn't. But if you do, let the Attorney General, blah blah blah, of Colorado know first." So I went on my show then, and I said, "Okay, everybody, I want everybody to plug your ears here." And then I said, "Attorney General, blah blah blah, I'm going to tell the world." All right, everybody, unplug your ears. This is disgusting. You think I wasn't going to tell anybody? I don't
we
care.
still have that show.
What are they going to do, Brandon? Arrest me? When you want to get arrested so you can tell the world your story, that's a big problem for them.
Yeah, it is. So the primary is August 11th. He's winning on the poly markets. You're winning in the other polls. And the GOP establishment is not happy about it. But the people of Minnesota know you, born and raised there, built a business worth hundreds of millions till you had to pay a price for that. But you've kept that company afloat. Hey, you know what, Mike? I think if you can survive a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, keep your company afloat during all of that, that right there says an awful lot about how you could help Minnesota turn it around, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. I've got experience in every aspect. If you read my book, that's nothing compared to what's happened the last 5 years. And I'm reading this, people are going, wow, how you lived 14 near-death experience, getting through all the betrayal and everything else that happened. These last 5 years, when you're attacked by the most powerful government in the world with order to attack and silence Mike Lindell and get rid of My Pillow, and then you're being attacked by lawfare, with Bees Mind at 1.3 billion, another 1 billion. I mean, I'm going, and be able to get through that and guide the company through it and still be here. That says a lot. And to build a company, Brandon, it's the American dream on steroids, to go from being an ex-crack addict in the streets of Minneapolis to going show by show, quitting all your addictions, which I did on January 16, 2009, by the grace of God, getting a pickup truck and a trailer when they said, "Oh, no, you're not going to make it. We're turning this down. You're never going to make it. You're never going to make it." I'm going, don't tell me that. I brought the pillows to the people, went all around Minnesota and did fairs, home shows, every single place I could sell pillows. I don't care if it was a street corner. Built the company, probably the biggest company the country's ever seen, for sure, in times on TV. I said now it's upwards of 5.5 million times I was on TV commercials. And then to sell 85 million My Pillows, hire thousands of employees over the years, and all the other companies that get from My Pillow, that expands from there. It's got to be Minnesota's probably their biggest company with direct sales. And to do that and still be standing here, you'd think that they would want a business mentality. That's why I'm going to come out with my budget and say, here's the fixes for Minnesota, and here's how we're going to do it. And it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be a miracle in a lot of people's eyes. But with God, all things are possible.
Yeah, excellent, Mike. Before we go, we got to have you plug this. Tell us about the latest at My Pillow with B66.
Okay, B66. I got to tell you guys this, Brandon. This sale comes around. Wait on it. Once every 250 years, everybody. This is an anomaly in history, okay? You use that promo code B66, you're going to get our mattresses 50% off, made in the USA. You're going to get we have a 4-pack pack for $49.98 now. 4-pack of My Pillows, the premium, 2 of them, and 2 of the our classics, 2 of them, and 2 of the Go Anywhere. We've got our mattress toppers on sale for $99, as low as $99.98. But the big one, the Giza Dream Sheets, everybody, the Giza Dream Sheets are as low as $29.98. And all the colors in, you guys, and this, by the way, that's our president's favorite product. And so you're getting all of this, and free shipping options are available right now if it be 66. Brandon, do you still have the old phone number you had there?
I do, absolutely, Logan. You can put up the phone number. And by the way, Mike Lindell, the slippers you gave me so many years ago, I still wear them, and I'm not kidding, Logan. He'll tell you I wear them morning and night. Right. My wife looked at them the other day. Let me tell you something. And she handed me a brand new pair of My Pillow slippers that she found in a closet. And she said, here you go. You've been wearing those for 5+ years.
Wow.
Here's a brand new pair of My Pillow slippers. You know what I said? There's nothing wrong with this pair. Put them back in the closet.
Well, Brandon, you could put them away for a while more, because here's the worry on that. Everybody get to My Pillow, because the slippers, because of reasons beyond our control, we can't get them anymore.
Wow.
We'll maybe get some other ones. It's over. So once they're gone, they're gone. You guys get those on sale today using that promo code B66. You just heard it from Brandon. These are the best slippers ever made. They're made with impact gel. It's like walking on a cloud. This patented impact gel made actually from soybeans, by the way. I think I told you that back in the day. This it's amazing. And by the way, everybody, don't forget we have My Coffee, the best coffee ever. We've got, you guys can check out. There's all kinds of stuff we've added. Our energy drinks, Rev 7, you guys, on sale with that promo code B66. You get a free 3-pack trial pack, you guys, just for checking that out from the website today. You guys, and there's our Mega 2 sale right there. Use that promo code B66. That mega sale right there, and like I say, these sales are colliding. It happens once every 250 years. What a great time to celebrate our anniversary. We're an anomaly in history. And you guys, we have our sandals. The sandals we have, there's so many things that were new products we've added too. And then there's closeout products. We're closing out forever. We're doing a lot of shifting. Remember, we moved into a new warehouse, everybody. It was amazing to move, and that was another thing with regulations in Minnesota. They were trying to tell us how high to put our racks, but they wouldn't get over there to complete the inspection. So we had to rent 120 semi-trucks, fill it with the product. So a lot of that we said, you know what, we're going to close out these products. Our loss, your gain. You guys have had our back for kept us in business over these attacks with all the box stores. So you guys get everything you can right now with promo code B66. And like I say, if you do it now today, there's free shipping options available. And made in the USA with the mattresses. Brand new, and our mattress, you guys, are coil foam combination. I helped design them. Those have a 6-month money back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And it's been quite a journey. That was one of the things too, Brandon, where I told the president back then last summer when I was thinking about running, I said, Kendra and I are going to pray about it. But I said, one thing, I said, I have to have the peace that My Pillow, that I can walk away there and be 100% all in for governor. And My Pillow is safe and secure. And it's all coming into place, everybody. Wow. We're still standing. We're expanding. And we're still standing. That's a good rhyme.
That's a good one. And I want you also to run over to Mike's website. We have it right here. It is MikeLindellGov.com. MikeLindellGov.com. Share that around. There are some recent polls, not counting the one we've talked about tonight. President Trump talking about Mike Lindell. So much is there, and you can support him as well. MikeLindell.gov. MikeLindellGov.com. MikeLindellGov.com.
You can even take a shortcut, LindellGov.com. We'll make it simple.
LindellGov.com for the shorter. Now, Mike, thank you, number one, for being with us.
We can sure use help because now we got the biggest pathway. Brandon, I always look at things as the blessings. When I look at the 2020 election as one of the biggest blessings to our country in history, what's happened over the last 5 years. If we didn't have 2020, all that stuff, we wouldn't be where we're at, the great place we're going to be going forward. And Minnesota, if we didn't have the fraud and all these corrupt politicians, we wouldn't have this beautiful open door that we can walk through right now and change things for the future so that we can secure the American dream like I've lived myself. And by the way, I want to tell your audience, because I get asked all the time, Mike, looking back now that you've spent everything on trying to help save the country, their elections, would you change anything? What do you think that answer is? I wouldn't change a thing, and I never will. I will never stop fighting, and we will fight till we win this election. And then look out, all these things are going to change. This is we're at a big point in history where we're on the offensive, Brandon. We have been for quite a while.
Now, MikeLindellGov.com or LindellGov.com. It's a shorter one.
Yep.
Now, we're going to try to get a hold of you and even if you have to join us by phone for 5-10 minutes, we'd love to hear your thoughts on what's presented by the president tomorrow night.
Yep. Just reach out to me and I'll get on right away. I'm all in.
Good. Mike Lindell. Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Keep
Mike
up the fight,
Lindell.
Brandon.
MikeLindellGov.com. MikeLindellGov.com. All right, guys, that's our broadcast for tonight. You appreciate what we're doing? Well, if you do, I sure do need your support, folks. WorldviewFoundation.com. Look at all we push out absolutely free, day in, day out, day in, day out. We could put all of it behind the paywall, including this player, so that everybody would have to pay to join. But we don't want to do that. We want to keep so much of our stuff out here to reach new people. All right? And then some people just can't afford it. So we don't want to cut people out. So help us underwrite some of the cost of pushing it out as broadcast ministry programming. Roll the music. Let's call it a night, please. WorldviewFoundation.com. WorldviewFoundation.com. Okay, we are looking forward to volume 1, 2, and 3 of my commentary and book for lay people on the book of Revelation coming out this fall. I hope you'll go ahead and put in a pre-order now. Worldviewstore.com. Worldviewstore.com. 3-volume set, hardcover, beautifully professionally printed, brown hardcover with gold on the cover. You'll love it. Worldviewstore.com. May God save America. Take care.
Faith, spiritual values, moral issues, government, economy, education, work, responsibility. What we think about these depends on our worldview. Now, VCY America presents Worldview Radio with Brannon House.
Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome. Glad you're with us. We are going to be joined by Patrick Wood today because I believe President Trump is building the infrastructure, the architecture for Revelation chapter 18, the commercial Babylon, without even knowing it. If you have a Bible, go grab it, would you? Or bring it up on your smart device or your iPad or whatever it is you use. Revelation chapter 18, you know it well. We talk about it a lot here, and we're going to continue talking about it because we are one of the few groups that has told you consistently for years, don't give up on Babylon. Babylon means Babylon. It does not mean New York. In fact, we see in the scriptures that Babylon is actually referred to in the symbol of an eagle. Did you know that? As well as a lion. And so people say, oh, there's the eagle. It must be America. No, it is 58 miles south of Baghdad. But it doesn't just include Babel. It includes that big mass area of land. If you look at a map of what was historically Babylon, it's a big area. And of course, Babel, Tower of Babel, Genesis 10 and 11. It's going back there, Revelation 17 and 18. But it's going to include a lot of vast area. But it also represents I believe, the headquarters of Antichrist for a Eurocentric world government. Well, when I wrote the book, The Coming Religious Reich, that means kingdom or empire for the new folks, Reich, I said, look, we're headed toward Babylon, the rebuilding of Babylon. There wasn't much to say as far as evidence, but there sure is today, as you well know, from the All-Fall port. It's a port. They're adding more ports. It is a railroad. It is underwater tunnel. It's highways. It's amazing. And they've added to it. And it just got attacked last night by a drone. I think it was an Iranian drone hit by the All-Fall port last night. There's video footage of it. And